was like, whoa.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is. This episode is presented by Underdog. If you're new to Underdog, today's the day. Get $75 in fantasy bonus entries when you play just $5 on fantasy with code It Is What It Is. Underdog is available right now in most states, including Florida, Texas, and California, just to name a few. So make sure y'all support the show, hit that subscribe button, lock in your bonus, and start playing today with code It Is What It Is. I'm Treasure Wilson, aka Stat Baby, along with your host Cam. Mace will be back, and today we are joined with our analyst Maurice Clarett.
Mo, what's up, baby? How you?
Life is great. Life is great. How y'all doing?
I'm good. Yo, listen, man. I want to get in on some of these investments. I see you copping hotels, all type clinics. Listen, man, call me for the next investment, man. What's happening? Congratulations, too, man. Congratulations.
Thank you,
I'm very happy and proud of you, bro. Happy and proud for you.
Now, I told you ever since y'all thought I was joking. Ever since I joined the show, life been going up. Y'all think I just be joking and smiling for no reason, but when you around winners, like good shit happens. So, life been moving in the right direction. But I will promise you this: the next deal, I will hit you up and tell you all about it. And if it's meant to be, we'll go ahead and break bread and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's what's up. But congratulations, bro.
You fired.
Thank you.
To see it. Okay, so we're actually gonna start with the Knicks, y'all. The Knicks are 25-18, and recent losses include the Mavs, Kings, Suns, and Warriors, and they had their 9th loss in 11 games. So Jalen Brunson actually called for a players-only meeting. So Maurice, gonna let you go first. What do you think can get accomplished in a players-only meeting that isn't accomplished in regular meetings? And then how do you feel about hearing that from them? Sounds good or sounds like it's a problem?
Well, it's two things. The first thing, when people do players-only meetings, it's like a cry for help in some regard. And what you're really doing is you're trying to get people to get their focus back. And I was asking myself, did the Knicks lose focus when they won the in-season tournament, right? Kind of to the fact that did you have so much success doing something that you've lost focus in some regard, feel like you made it. You know what I'm saying? But I never know what guys plan to get accomplished in players-only meetings that they're not talking about when you do your regular meetings with the coaches, because the coaches are pretty much saying like what it is that you have to do to go out here, compete, win, and put yourself in a position to win a championship. And so I'm not sure what they'll hear from their leaders that makes it a thing. Oftentimes, I'm not even sure how this even gets out to the media. For the media to say, hey, the players who are supposed to be like this close-knit group had some special meeting. And so I'm not sure, be it in football, basketball, ever in life, what guys get accomplished from it. Hopefully they turn it around and they don't become the butt of the joke to say they started off fast and ended the way that they're doing now. But I don't know what they were looking to get accomplished.
It's the Knicks. Yo, man. I don't know why we do this. I ain't gonna say it's as bad as the Cowboys, but it's almost as bad as the Cowboys. See, at least I give the Cowboys a little more credit because at least they won a championship in 1990s, Knicks 1972. This is how bad the Knicks is, right? They win the in-season tournament. They win the cup. And the whole shit go down the drain because a nigga stuck his thumb in the nigga ass. Nobody even gave a fuck after that. The whole topic wasn't even the Knicks winning the chip. It was more about the nigga Josh Hart thumbing the nigga Jalen Brunson. That was the whole focus after the champion. This is the shit that happens. Now, the whole focus is not winning the cup. The focus is, what type of games they've been playing in Villanova. How long he been figuring in this nigga in the ass? Or this is the topic. I'm not shocked by none of this. See, the reason they're having a players-only meeting, and I don't know what that's supposed to accomplish either, Mo, but this is the thing. At least as far as the East Coast is concerned, they were supposed to come in and be in the NBA Finals this year, at minimum. You have no Tyrese Halliburton. You have no Jason Tatum. Cleveland might be smoke and mirrors. Orlando's a year or 2 or 3 away. We're not counting Atlanta. We're not thinking about the Nets. This was the next year to go to the chip, and I'm not saying it's too late. But at the end of the day, coming into the season, we thought that they would be looking like OKC's looking in the West, or how Detroit Pistons are looking in the East. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know what a player-only means going to accomplish either. But I'm not shocked at none of this. This is the New York Knicks. And maybe you're right, Mo. Maybe winning that made them feel like, yeah, we got this. But my point to that is that I like the attitude. I don't know whose decision it was. Maybe Worldwide West, GM, owner, players, or whatever. They didn't want to hang the banner up because they was like, we want the real thing. I was like, yeah, I like that. Yeah, because, even though the Lakers and I believe the Bucks won last year, they hung their banner up. It's like, nah, we want a real banner up. And I was like, I like that, but it's been downhill, like Mo pointed out, ever since then. But nothing shocks me. My personal opinion is they're going to get rid of Karl Anthony Towns before the trade deadline, and they're going to try and get the Greek Freak. The Greek Freak wants out of Milwaukee. And he's looking at houses in the offseason in Long Island in New York, and he's talking about playing in the major city when he's in the offseason. He's throwing thumbs down, booing the crowd in Milwaukee. I think that's what can revitalize and save the next season, some type of way to get the Greek Freak over there. And you got about 3 weeks to do it because the trade deadline's in 3 weeks. Besides that, I like Detroit. Let
me ask you, was the stat going?
No, you go ahead, Mark.
Who do you think they would give up to get Giannis? Or who do you think they would have to give up? I was asking myself this.
You gotta listen, man. That's the next thing. You gotta think about this if you're Milwaukee as an organization, right? Milwaukee tried to do everything under the sun they can. It's just not working out. They got rid of the coach when he didn't like the coach. They tried to go get Damian Lillard. That just didn't work out. They said, okay, we won't sign one of your brothers. We'll sign 2 of your brothers. Shout out to my nigga Thanasis. That's my nigga too. You know what I'm saying? But, we got your family over here on a visa. It's nothing short of what Milwaukee is trying to do as an organization. It's just not working out. But back to the original question, which you're asking me, it's going to be hard to get somebody to fill seats. I like Karl Anthony Towns and whoever else the Knicks may give up to him because they're not going to give up Jalen Brunson. That's just out. No. But you have to get somebody who's going to put asses in seats. Greek Freak is a legitimate superstar, not just an American superstar, a worldwide superstar. So you have to get somebody who's going to put asses in seats. He's exciting. He's I'm not saying he's flashy. He's big, pause. He's strong. You get to the basket. He's animated. It's going to be very hard to replace that. Me personally, if I'm Milwaukee, I don't know if Knicks have anybody I would give up for that. But him sharing how unhappy he is with with Milwaukee, maybe they'll try and do something. Maybe it won't even be the Knicks, but you got to get somebody that's going to sell tickets, man. And that's what it boils down to.
So, Cam, let me ask you this before we move on, just because I feel like I got to. So, hypothetically speaking, if all goes as planned and they do, make a trade that makes sense and they get Giannis, is this the Knicks' year?
It should be. Okay. Like I said, we thought this before the season started. You think about, I don't know a better point guard. Maybe you could argue Donovan Mitchell, but, he could play the 1 or the 2. But I'm talking about a point guard. This, from last season to this season, even though they're not looking good in the last however many games, but Jalen Brunson is a legit superstar as well. Him and Giannis, with the role players they got, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, like I said, I don't know if some of them will be included in the package if they do a deal. With those roles, they have some really decent role players, and you got 2, not just all-stars, superstars on your team, with Tyrese Halliburton going. You got to think about this. Even if Tyrese Halliburton was back, Miles Turner's not there. They tore apart Boston. You know, even when Jason Tatum got hurt last year, the Knicks were up in that series when Jason Tatum got hurt. They got rid of Porzingis. Giannis and Jalen Brunson, with some decent role players, should at least get them to the championship.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying win it, but get them there.
Makes that very clear. Not saying win it, but they should get there. So we'll see what happens, y'all. So speaking of championships, so in football and in basketball, to some, seasons feel incomplete or feel like a waste, right, if you don't win the championship. So Maurice, can I let you go first. Why do you think that is?
I think it's just because it comes down to just a team's expectations. When people are used to coming from winning cultures, or just like what Cam was talking about with the Knicks, and they started off this year, and you're expected to win it all, or people have just higher expectations for you. Oftentimes, if you don't go and get the chip, you ask yourself, like, what was this for? I know when we was playing, or not when I was playing, but just being with Ohio State this year, we went out there and we lost. When we lost to Miami, I was like, man, you know, what did we do all this for? Like the only reason that you get into the game, or the only reason that you play the game, is to win it all. And oftentimes, nobody remembers all of the great shit that you did along the way. Nobody will remember anything about Miami other than they lost. You'll remember Kurt Signetti. You'll remember that these Indiana stories. You remember all the special stuff, but all this Mesidor Bain and all of these memorable storylines, all that stuff gets lost once you lose and once you don't make it all. And I didn't know. I just asked myself, does music do the same thing? Like with expectations with Cam, and you know, I thought Mace was going to be on today. And when you have high expectations for yourself, and if you don't sell a gold or a platinum album, or even that time you didn't sell a gold or a platinum album, I wonder, do people look at music the same way? I know it's a little bit harder now because you don't have the same metric for people's, you know, music success, but it was just a question that, you know, I just had in regards to be it with sports or be it with music in general.
As far as real quick, just a statement outside of that, college football is through the Big Ten right now. You know, sorry, SEC. I was arguing with a nigga the other day, SEC. You got Michigan, you got Ohio State, and you got Indiana. Argue with your mother. I'm not arguing with you about what conference is the best conference in college football at the moment. For all the niggas who was like, SEC, Kevin, yeah, it might have been, but the last 3 years. And that's a great point, Bo. You know, we can sit there and say, yo, who was in the Super Bowl 7 years ago? And you may know who won, but you may not know who lost. You know what I'm saying? You know, you think about this, right? And that's an interesting stat. I'm just staying on the NFL for a minute. This is the first year well, not even first year, they brought it back this year with the Patriots. This is 16 years consecutively, or 16 or 17, that either the Patriots went to the AFC Championship or Kansas City. I think Kansas City had won 6 straight and the Patriots had won 8 straight with Tom Brady, and now the Patriots are back in it, which is amazing. I just was thinking about some things running through my head, but in sports, you're right. You know, you may come into the season saying, we ain't going to win. Let me go do what I can do to make myself look good and to better my team. But some teams already know they're not going to win coming into the season. That's just a damn fact. You know, we'd be sitting here lying and say that we thought the Cleveland Browns had a shot this year at winning the championship. We'll be sitting here lying saying that we thought the Raiders had a chance to win the championship, even though they just got Pete Carroll and Geno Smith look decent last few years. We'll be lying saying that we thought they're going to win. So some teams don't have the expectations of winning, even though that's what you're supposed to say. A great question, Mo, when it's related to music, right? My first album came out, and for a first album, my album went gold, which was really, really good for my first album. But I was mad about that because I felt like I failed. And the reason I felt like I failed with only selling, so a gold album is 500,000 units back, like you said, a different metric system now. Physical sales, 500,000 units. A platinum album is 1 million units. And when my first album came out, I went gold, and everybody like, Cam, like, that's good. And I'm like, how is that good? And my man just sold 4 million records. He's 4 times platinum. I felt like I failed. I'm mad at the label. I'm mad at niggas. I'm yelling at Polly Anthony. Shout out to Polly Anthony. Shout out to people at Sony who gave me the opportunity. But to me, that was a failure if my man just sold 4 million records and I sold 500,000. So, but to other artists who wasn't even went gold and never went gold, that's a success. So it's different ways to look at it, Mo. When you say that, you may say, "Yeah, I went gold. I killed them." But what you do when your childhood friend sell 4 million and you don't, or you don't even sell 1 million. So it depends on how you measure success and how you look at it. You know, looking back at it, I can't speak for Mace because Mace made a lot of money on shows and so on and so forth, capitalizing off the 4 million sales. But a nigga had his publishing. So did he make the money that he could have made? No, he didn't. But he could have. I mean, of course he got rich, other avenues, but he was being robbed too. When you got somebody who may be getting, not me, but let's say they have, let's just use somebody like Master P or Baby for Cash Money back then, where they saying they getting $8-9 a record, and they sell a gold album. So you may have somebody who sold 3 million records that's getting pennies off the dollar. That sold 3 million records, as opposed to somebody who got $9 off a record that went gold. What makes more sense financially? And financially, that's what it's really all about. So there's different ways to measure it. What makes you happy? Like, to me, I don't think it can be measured in music like that because everybody's deal is not the same. Everybody has different deals. So it's about what makes you happy and what doesn't make you happy. You sell 4 million records and get pennies on the dollar, or you sell 500,000 records and you get $8-9 off the record. That wasn't me. I'm not saying I was getting $8 on the dollar. I was getting jerked too. I was getting pennies on the dollar too. But I'm just saying, I think it's easier to measure in sports than music.
Good analysis. Okay, so speaking from people who have seized huge moments in their careers at different points, which all of you guys have done, what is it mentally that separates those that are special from those who freeze up when large opportunities arrive in sports, which we literally saw happen in college football, not gonna lie, and music? Maurice.
Well, for me, I think it's like this hidden ingredient that you can only access when you're sacrificing along your journey. And I hope I can explain this the correct way, but I think like as you're trying to become who you're supposed to become, and there's different points of the things that you're sacrificing, be it time, be it things that you want to do in your free time, be it relationships. I think there's like a different life force that you get, that you have access to, that you can tap into when it's time for you to pursue your goal, your vision, or your dream. And oftentimes, I think when people on their journey and they have different opportunities come up, I be thinking in my head, like, the reason I fight for stuff is because I'll sacrifice a lot and I'm able to go ahead and move forward. And I can look at somebody who doesn't want it as bad as me. And I always think to myself, I wonder if other people who've accomplished a lot experience that, like they fought so hard, or the reason that people get called dogs, right? Or the reason that, one guy becomes a superstar with the same resources and another guy doesn't make it, is because of that. Just throughout the journey, the person who succeeded has put up with more or has managed. I don't know. I don't want to say just absorb pain a little bit different, pause, than somebody else. And so that's just my thought on it. Like you get a different force or a different energy that you're able to tap into based on the sacrifices that you've endured to get to where you got to go. And that energy ultimately drives you. It makes sense in my brain, but I don't know. That was my answer to the question.
And ask it one more time, Seth, so I just answer it correctly.
Yeah. So what is it mentally that separates those that are special from those who freeze up when big opportunities really arrive and come like straight to them?
See, that's another question that I don't think it's one answer to, right? You got people who work their ass off and put time in and put energy in, and let's just use sports first. I'm talking about. They put time, they put energy, they will get there before everybody's gets to the gym or the field. They leave everybody after everybody leaves the gym or the field. But they might not have, and they're super good. Really, really good. This happened to me in basketball, I'm talking about. Of course, I started playing basketball. I'm talking about 9, 10 years old. I was playing with one of the best organizations, killing practice, be there late, stay after 9, 10 years old. But when I played my first game, not even my first game, my first 4 or 5 games, I froze up. And I know we're talking about a 10-year-old, but there's other 10-year-olds that were good. And I froze up. I would have a layup by myself and miss the layup. I was sitting there, I couldn't score no points. And it was to the point where the coach just was honest with me. He's like, man, this may be your last tournament. He's like, you're a practice player. He may keep you to practice with niggas to be ready for the games. And it was like something mentally just wasn't clicking for me. Then one game I just had a breakout game and kind of never looked back. Some people are scared of the moment. You know, it's different stages and it's different lights. They say Peyton Manning is the best regular season quarterback ever. How Peyton Manning supposed to look at that? Like, yo, do you want to be considered the best regular season quarterback ever? Or do you want to be considered one of the best quarterback ever, which I think he is. But they're saying that to say that you really haven't achieved in the playoffs. Now, we got one Super Bowl that Peyton Manning was at the helm for when he played with the Colts. Now, let's be serious. When he played with the Broncos, the defense won him that championship. He was just there to hike the motherfucking ball. He couldn't really do too much, you know what I'm saying? It's just a fact, man. You know what I mean? But moments, people are not ready for big moments. Floyd Mayweather says this all the time. The lights are different, man. You know, when you're sitting in there on pay-per-view, it's not the same lights, even though it's the same lights probably, because let's say you just fighting in T-Mobile Arena. It's the same lights. But Floyd uses the analogy, when them lights hit, it's different because it's the same lights, but it's a different moment. If some people aren't ready for that moment. You know, we've been talking about this, and I've seen other shows talking about it too. Even Nick didn't even want to pay the nigga. Nick, C.J. Stroud, what'd he do? He's 24 years old, Nick ready to kick the nigga to the curb. He don't want to pay him the money. I said, Nick don't want to get a nigga the money. And I'm saying he has time. I don't know how much time he has, but it looked like in big moments he can't perform. And that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like Josh Allen, we can't really say Josh Allen ain't perform in big moments. Sometimes, you know, besides to me this past weekend, we can blame it on Josh Allen. The other playoff games, he was there. He was ready to go. It's not his fault that Patrick Mahomes has Tyreek Hill with 13 seconds to go that's running 98 miles per hour to get them in field goal range to go into overtime, and Josh Allen doesn't get to play a minute in overtime. It's different scenarios, so you can't have one answer. Then you also have to have the it factor. Some people have the it factor, and we talk about this with music, right? I'm going to jump over to music when it comes to the it factor. Of course, you practice your craft. Some people are naturally gifted, can go up to a piano and learn how to play it, can rap, can sing, etc. But you may not be it. A lot of people I know, or not just know, see, they be spitting. They be like, that's that real shit, killer. I'm telling you, that's that real shit. And I'm like, yeah, let's say they live in Brooklyn. Yeah, for Brooklyn. Is that going to translate to Boise, Idaho? Is that going to translate to Omaha, Nebraska? Because you like they the realest, but they got one of you out there. It's a crazy nigga just like you in Seattle, Washington, nigga. They got their own rapper that's crazy like you. Is the music going to translate? Because niggas be feeling they spit the realest shit that they be like, niggas got, yo, it's one of you crazy niggas, if not 8, 9, 10 niggas, every motherfucking county in America. So you have to do something to stand outside the box and have the it factor when it comes to being a star. Everybody don't have the it factor. You can be talented. You can be talented, but you don't have that it factor. You just may not have it. Let's think about Biggie Smalls, right? Real quick, let's think about Biggie Smalls. Just the last thing I'll say on it. Biggie Smalls, and no disrespect, his own bars, right? He said, this is Biggie Small bars, not what I'm talking about, Biggie Smalls. The nigga said, heartthrob never, I'm black and ugly as ever. However, I stay Coochie down to the socks, rings and watch filled with rocks. So Biggie's telling you himself, oh, I ain't one of them pretty niggas, but the bitch is gonna fuck with me. I know how to put it together, nigga. I got it. You know what I'm saying? He said I went from ashy to nasty to classy. He talking about himself. Because he had that confidence, he had that it factor. Everybody don't have that. What you gonna ask me, Mo?
No, but that's what I'm asking. Like, so I lost my point because I got into the story that you were talking about. But
Sorry about that.
of course, no. So when you performing, right? When you performing, you have different opportunities. Is your approach to both things the same? Like, yo, this is a major show and a major moment in my approach for me to be a star or to tap into my it factor, is that different versus something that's like a normal show that doesn't that didn't require to be a headliner? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think like it's this different life force that a person ends up getting blessed with that brings out the it factor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to, I don't know how to explain it, but I just think that people draw from a different sense of energy. Even when you was talking about, my failures, or I couldn't seize the moment at 10 years old when I was on the court. If you ask me and you put a polygraph on me, I would say that attributed to you being a star elsewhere, right? Where you
Right,
keep on working through that moment, or you keep on working through the failure, or even when a coach says something to you and he like, yo, I don't think this is it for you, then you have your breakout moment. If you ask
right,
me, that's the thing that ends up making who we see today. And then as you were
right.
talking, I'm saying to myself, you know what I'm saying? I was trying to hone in on the thought, but I couldn't land it. But
Yeah.
hearing you talk, I
So,
had like just different things that came up in my mind.
yeah, it's like, man, it's no one is. Let's use, all right, this is a great example, right? This is a great example. And let's try to nobody. Last, was the day before yesterday, we got the college championship, right? You got Mendoza against Beck. This both y'all time to shine. Who's it gonna be? You got the Heisman Trophy against the home team nigga at the crib playing at home. Left came to Miami, nigga. Who's gonna capture this moment? Mendoza go 4 and 5, nigga. Move, pinball machine, boom, throw across, touchdown.
Yeah.
Nigga, Carson Beck, it's on you. You got time. You ain't got timeouts. You got time, though. Doesn't seize the moment. So that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's the draw of the luck, too. You know what I'm saying? Because now it looks like Mendoza, his story, you think about the storylines, his story and his legend becomes bigger than Carson Beck, the kid who left, came to Miami, this, that, and third. You got to think about Mendoza left. He's in Cali. They took a chance on him. He wanted to be a walk-on Miami. The story gets crazier. The more you win, you hear more stories. Oh, did you know? He's from the Miami area. He wanted to play for Miami. He's a 2-star recruit. They didn't even want him as a walk-on. How does this end up in Miami, the championship, the team that he wanted to play for, that wouldn't let him walk on in his hometown, to seize a moment like that when Carson Beck could have had the moment and said, yeah, I'm the hometown hero that's going to make, not literally come drawing up there, but saying, yeah, Miami, I brought us back. We ain't win the championship. It's capturing the moment. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes it's just the draw of the luck, too.
Yeah.
Think about this real quick. Think about this, right? Same thing. Caleb Williams, 7 comebacks this year. You know what I'm saying? You down 7 points. You on 4th and 8. You sit there, you scrambling. You run back 25 yards and throw it wasn't a Hail Mary. Some people say Hail Mary. That shit was spot on to me. Could land it right in the nigga hands. It just, now you in overtime. Okay, the Rams get the ball. They don't score. You could be the hero. You could take your team. The Bears ain't won 2 games in the playoffs since 2006. You could be that nigga right now to take them to the NFC Championship. You throw an interception. Now the story's back with Matt Stafford. Yo, Matt Stafford had a great year. He's probably going to get the MVP. Yada, yada, yada. Matt Stafford ain't throw a touchdown the whole game. But he looks good. They win. When they solve a lot of shit, guys, Stat, you going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to add to that because I do think like the college football championship is like a great example because both of them had great storylines, and I just don't think there's a certain amount of preparation that can ever prepare you for the moment. Sometimes moments are also going to come and go, but I think what really matters in these moments, especially Maurice, when you pose the question talking about what separates people mentally, is how you bounce back from it. Because there are some people who like have these huge moments and they do fail and then they kind of disappear off the face of the earth, or they allow it to kind of like change their trajectory or where they go. It happens a lot also in music with artists. If there's like a scandal or something like that, some people allow it to kind of like make or break their career. But I think what you do after, as far as redemption and being able to kind of like bring out another side of you or allowing people to see a story that they might not have seen, I think that those are what separates people from like great to like good. Because obviously if you seize the moment, you're going to be on the better end of the stick because you have the better opportunity. But on the other end, the person, whatever they decide to do with that and moving forward, I think that shows a lot about them too, because some people do let it break them. And I just don't think that you can allow that to happen because it like not everything's going to be picture perfect, a Cinderella story. Like that's just not realistic. So I just think after also makes a big point. But those are both great examples and a great discussion overall. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Maurice.
Before you go, I wanted to be nosy real quick. With this moment with Mason Cam, and you probably said it before, what happened to you, or what did you think of when you had this opportunity? Like, where did you function from to make you believe that you can do this?
You talking about Stat?
I'm talking Stat.
Yeah.
Stat. This was a huge moment, and you've obviously seized it. And I didn't want you to talk in generalization from a personal standpoint.
Yeah.
What would make you believe? I'll speak for myself because me knowing them, I was nervous before I did the show because like I'm fans of people. So for that, so you may have a different context being younger.
Yeah.
What made you believe that this was going to work out? That's all I want to say.
Yeah, it's funny because me and Cam actually like just recently talked about it, just reflecting about it, because I told him, I was like, I was scared. Like it's not like I was like prepped. Like I didn't really have like my makeup. Like when he said, do you want to go? I wasn't going to say no. Like some opportunities really do come once in a lifetime. So for me personally, when he said, do you want to come up and debate with me? I know my goals, right? And I knew that like I always wanted to be a host. So why, if the opportunity presents itself, would I make excuses or tell myself I'm not able to do it when also prior to I've done the work making myself 1% better every day to be ready for these moments? It's not like he asked me to come up here and debate and I knew nothing about, like, I even like taking school aside, like I'm watching the games, like I'm doing my write-ups, I'm writing, like I'm making sure that I have the knowledge so when the opportunity presents itself, I'm ready. Because if I would have said no, anybody else could have gotten that opportunity. And like when you know that you want something, like you're not just gonna let somebody come up and take an opportunity from you when it's literally yours. So I think a lot of people self-sabotage, and I wasn't finna do that to myself. So when he asked me, I was like, yeah. Was I nervous? Yeah. But when the lights come on, literally like he was talking about in moments, I'm not gonna be like, if I don't know something, like I will genuinely say like, let me figure this out or let me search it up. But I ain't finna self-sabotage myself from being great. So it was a scary moment, but it was really dope. So obviously I'm happy I did it.
Yeah, and to add on, for people who don't have context of what Stat's talking about, and just to add more context, it's Mace missed his flight, and Stat was behind the scenes writing for the show. And when Mace didn't make it, I asked her randomly, yo, you want to get on the show? So it wasn't like she knew she was going to be on the show. It wasn't like she's prepared, like when she's trying to say she have her makeup or anything. I just say, you want to do it?
Oh, wow.
And she did it. Yeah, and she did a good job.
Mind you, like, just even for more context, like, because again, I like to reiterate, like, I was in school. It was really late that day. Like, there was like no, like, obviously I knew the topics because like I was helping like write topics and stuff like that. But it's not like, oh, here's the stat sheet. Here's what you like. Because also I think sometimes people think that like, you know, like the knowledge that you guys see from them, like they know this stuff like the back of their hand. So it's not like a walk in the park and like, here you go. Like they do in a lot of networks, just give you everything there. Like that's not how this works. So it was scary. So like you definitely had to have knowledge, but of course I'm happy that I did it. And then even as far as like an outfit, because I was doing my school's television network, I had a spare dress in the trunk of my car. And just like that, it was kind of like a 3, 2, 1, go. And I was like, oh,
Let's
shit.
go.
But like, it was dope. It was super dope. So if y'all want to look back on that episode, you can definitely see the growth because it is still up on the YouTube. Wearing a bright pink dress. I literally remember that day up and down. And it was great. So definitely seize the opportunity if it presents itself, because sometimes these opportunities come once in a lifetime, y'all. That's what I will say. And then Maurice, just because you kind of asked me about my story, I would like for you to kind of talk about your story and then your mindset when you were kind of like first doing the first show that you came on.
Oh, no, here's the honest truth. I wasn't even keeping up with sports. But since Cam said you want to do a sports show, I said, fuck it, let's go. And so I had my son in the back seat, and I was like, all right, yeah, this was like the opportunity of a lifetime. I kind of figured it the same way. But just show you how the universe worked. I wrote down as one of my goals, I want to get in media. And the irony of everything that it was a not a YouTube video, but an Instagram video I seen of Cam, and something mentally said, somehow, some way you're going to connect with this dude. I'm a big spiritual dude. Lo and behold, it ended up basically happening with a direct message. So I felt like that was the universe and God telling me, just keep on moving in that direction. And then what ended up happening was, as we did the first shows, I said, just go and be yourself. And before I got on camera, I would be nervous and like, okay, like, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know, obviously I watched him on TV. Obviously I'm in Ohio. I knew when Cameron was out here, all that. So I'm a fan first and foremost. I'm never ashamed about asking about that, but I didn't know how it was going to pan out. But the more we just started kicking it and talking, like it became cool. I don't even know if Cam noticed, but like after like 2 or 3 shows, Mace hit me up at like 6 a.m. and he was like, hey man, could you come down to Atlanta? I'm doing a show with you. I don't even know you. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up getting on the plane. Yeah, it's a real story. Yeah, so I ended up getting on the plane and going down to Atlanta. And I went to Buckhead. And so Mace came pick me up. I went over to a studio, and we were just, we were sitting around kicking it all day. Went and grabbed something to eat and, just chopping it up. And then we ended up forming like some sort of rapport out of that. And so then when I would come back on the show, it was just easier to talk to him just because I had met him and chill with him and talk to him and just, hung out with him for a couple of days. And, I came back to Ohio. But had it not been that, and then just, over time, you get to doing the show every day. It became cool. So that's really how it happened. Then I became comfortable from meeting. Then, when the Super Bowl came out there, I ended up coming to Vegas. And then that's when I met Cam in person, and then met you, Stat, and I was with my daughter. So that's how it came with me. And then, we landed here. But that's my journey, how we got here.
Yeah. And then just real quick, with everybody, I don't want to say everybody. First of all, it's a blessing to have both of you guys part of the show. I want to tell y'all thank y'all for y'all contribution. Because this just all started from an idea that I had. But as far as, it's just, when it comes to Mo Real, I'll start off with Mo real quick. It's like, I was in Ohio when Mo was a superstar. And a lot of people don't know his whole story, but a lot of people know the ending to his story. They always remember the bad things as opposed to what you've done as far as not just Mo, people in general, with the good things. And when me and Mace was thinking about talent, I recommended Mo to him because I'm like, yo, bro, this nigga's a mega superstar. He ran into his trouble with the law. He paid debt to society. Now he's actually doing really well. He's opened up methadone clinics, so on and so forth. So it's more of a triumph story for me to have you part of the show because even though you were doing things that were positive after football, people may not have known that. And I wanted to share that light on people. I want to share that light on O.J. Simpson. You know what I'm saying? Like, the last thing that you guys remember about O.J. is that he allegedly did something in society, whether guilty or not. People think that he's guilty in the public eye. And I'm like, well, he wasn't guilty for the case so we could have him on the show. And you got to see his personality. You got to see how funny he is. Not only that, it's a lot of records to this day that O.J. Simpson has that they won't bring up because he has the records. And I felt like we had that avenue for that. R.I.P. O.J. Even the Michael Irvin, you got to think about this, and we don't like to bring up negative things on the show. The NFL Network got rid of Michael Irvin because they thought that he was talking to a female recklessly, and it was no audio. All you see is him in the bar talking to a female, and they go their separate ways, and then they make alleged something, this, that, third. The NFL Networks get rid of him, and then 5-6 months later, the case gets thrown out because it wasn't really nothing. So we observe all that stuff and be like, we're not going to hold people guilty in the court of public opinion. We're going to hold people guilty if they do something guilty, and then if they pay their debt to society and come back and make good as they. So we're going to shine light on that. So that's how everybody that we kind of put on the show came together.
Yeah, which is super dope and necessary because some people, other networks and stuff, they definitely be tripping. But one more note that I wanted to say before we go to break, because I know, Maurice, you talked about how writing some things down. It's actually real interesting because back in 2019, I graduated high school in 2019, and I had a list of things that I wanted to do. And one of them was literally like, and I posted on my Instagram, like being a show host and acting, which is like, you know, just some things that I knew that I wanted to do and I was going to work towards. The fact that 2 of the things already on that list, and of course, like, big shout out and big thanks to Cam, like, because the Happy Gilmore 2 thing and literally being a show host to me is so crazy because I don't know how old I was in 2019, maybe like 17, 18, but the fact that like I'm literally living what I always wanted for myself is crazy. So to y'all watching, if you have a goal, write it down, stick to the plot, stick to the plan, and make sure y'all manifest that. I promise you it'll happen if you just stick to the plan. That's all I'm going to say. But of course, big shout out to Cam because none of this would have happened.
No problem, man. Thank
Seriously,
you.
like it's the coolest shit ever. I'm like, damn. Like my teachers called me back from high school. They're like, I seen you in the movie. Like it's crazy. Like I'm real calm, but like, nah, I be geeked. It's real cool. So
see, and first of all, no problem. You put the work in, so you deserve it. But that's the difference. When my teachers called me, I was telling them, fuck you.
You know,
fuck y'all.
and I can't be mad at that. But I liked my high school teachers, like my drama teacher, my science teacher. But I didn't.
It sounds like you got a good education. And more, your beef, it sounds like it's more with your college teachers than your high school. No, fuck my high school teachers. Y'all didn't believe it. Y'all didn't think it was going to happen. Fuck y'all. It's about 2 of them I fuck with y'all because y'all cheated for me to be eligible to play basketball. Miss Webster, I say shout out to that. That's about it. Mr. Glad. Everybody else over 4 years, nah, I ain't jacking none of them.
See, Miss Webster, if you're out there, you know, just need you and Cam to speak real quick. We got to set that up.
And Mr. Glad, too.
And Mr. Glad.
Athletic director.
Because that's dope. Shout out to y'all. Because teachers need to be encouraging kids, by the way. Like, we need to bring that back because, yeah. Okay, so have we lost development in sports? We will discuss after the break.
I'm just saying,
Okay.
like,
Hey,
if you want
put the light on it.
DJ, the Dime Life brand is serious. I love that shirt you got on.
Like this, and your bank account is that much, you say whatever the fuck you want to say.
Rally around him with that, the picture of his daughter sitting on the lap of the LSU player.
So, Will, we happy that you can join us.
Man, thank you for having me on.
Look, I tell you this. Hey,
That voice.
okay, let me tell you like this. I got too much money to be fighting.
We ain't got that no more. And we've taken that song a long time and made it our anthem.
Parlay Jenkins.
I even put your bullshit ass book up here on my you know what I mean?
Welcome to Start with the Facts.
Welcome back. Now let's get into our underdog picks of the day. We're going to ring it right back to the Knicks. Tonight, the Knicks will play the Nets. Underdog has Jalen Brunson at 26.5 points. Do you have him higher or lower, Cam?
Who they play? The Knicks play who?
The Nets.
Yeah, higher.
Okay, Cat is at 21.5 points. Higher or lower?
Lower.
Okay, and Michael Porter Jr. is at 24.5 points. Got him higher or lower?
Lower.
Okay. Make sure y'all download the Underdog app and you can make your picks too. So we've seen a lot of shift in sports and developmental phases. So sports in general used to be about developing kids' character, learning about other cultures, and building a work ethic. But we've, again, seen a lot of things change. So Maurice, do you think that's forever gone with business being so prevalent in sports now?
Yeah, I believe that just the entire concept of building basic work ethic, having character be like the focal point of sports, be it for youth sports and just the entire environment of like, I think like, they say you lose a generation. I think the generation that I kind of grew up in, I think that stuff is gone. And what made me think about this is that there's a clip going on with John Calipari. He's Arkansas's head coach right now, and he was arguing against people being able to go to the G League, grab players from the G League, and then them petition to be college players again. And he just talked about the effects of how the unstructured NIL and older player environment hurts sort of like the high school kids. And me, I get down rabbit holes once I start thinking about stuff. And I just start thinking to myself, like, how does that affect everybody? Everything becomes a business once it's all about a business on the back end pause, saying be it in college. Like college is a bigger business. And then what does that do to high school kids? It drives like an economic environment where everything is about the dollar. And then I just thought to myself with the people complaining about kids having trainers and everything is kids being specialized in sports. And I was like, man, you just kind of lose just things that just develop like just personalities with kids where you played in the park or you played in your backyard or you played in the middle of the street and just all that stuff that you got through socializing those environments. And I just thought to myself that I think that it's gone. And if it isn't gone, I would ask somebody where does a kid find something like that at that helps them to develop as a person, as a youngster. So that was my response to it.
It's going to be hard, man, to get that back because look, we've been saying for years that these college kids need to make money. You know what I'm saying? Because how much money that the NCAA was making. Now they can make money to where, we talked about this on the show yesterday, I believe, or the day before, one of these days. And because I brought up John Calipari as well. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's good. It's good though that you could touch on it as well, but it's hard because that's how we talked about because it's high school kids saying they don't watch NFL. They like college football now. It's more lit, and that's because the next step for them is college, and that's where they can get their bag from. The goal may not necessarily be NFL. Ultimately, it will. But what do you do when you could play 9 games and then redshirt? So you can sit there and basically play almost a whole college season and then be like, matter of fact, I'm redshirting. They just changed the rules from 4 games to 9 games.
Yeah.
Now you're saying the extra year to make more money. They're finding mad loopholes for kids to go back to college or stay in college because now you're making money in college. So I don't know if you're ever going to have the player development like you used to because you used to develop skills in college too. You know what I'm saying? And it may not be the goal of niggas to get to the NFL anymore. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be, but if you got high school kids saying they don't care about the NFL and they not watching it, what's the real goal? And nigga like, yo, and then I'm being facetious when I say this. They're like, yo, man, my next 8 years, I'm be in college. I'm redshirt this year. I played 9 games this year. Yo, I'm going to take a COVID year even though I wasn't born when COVID was out. Yo, listen, they go finagle to stay in college as long as they get some people. And that's where their money may be. To me, imagine all the money, not saying, like, you could sit there and say Caitlin Clark, because she gets a lot of money. in the NBA. But it's girls that's in college playing basketball that's probably making more in college than they're going to make when they get to the WNBA. Why not stay longer if you can make more money in college than you making in the WNBA? So, back to the question for development, I'm not sure how you get that back because the real goal is the money. And some people are not as hungry as they were when they broke once they get a couple dollars.
So speaking on the money and getting to the bag, we got a nice little example here that I want to get you guys' opinion on. So current G League player and former Alabama big man Charles Bediako is suing the NCAA in an effort to return to Alabama to gain immediate reinstatement to join the team for the rest of the 2025 to 2026 season. The school had already filed an appeal for his eligibility, but it was denied. He last played for Alabama during the 2022 to 2023 season, and the 7-footer entered the NBA draft after that season, but was not selected. So Maurice, what do cases like this do to sports as a whole? And then do you think he should be granted to be able to go back to play?
Nah, you gotta get these niggas out the system. Yeah. Nigga can't play in 2022, 2023, take 3 years off and then try to go back. All these COVID years, 6th year, 7th year, all these dudes need to just go ahead and get rid of the system. I just found out about you can play 9 games and then red shirt, but I still think college needs to go back to
Fucking
where it's
ridiculous.
yeah, man. This ain't no hating on Kurt Signetti and winning with the 24-year-old kids. I get it, right? But I think college should still be, 18 to 22, just dudes in that age range, or 17 to whatever it may be. And then after that, you go to be a professional. But, dudes being 24, 25, 26 years old, trying to come play with young kids, it just ain't the same. And I don't agree with it.
And just so I'm clear with this story, explain the story, Stat.
Yeah, so he's suing the NCAA. He wants immediate reinstatement to play the rest of this season. The school actually filed an appeal for his eligibility, but it was denied. And then he last played in 2022 to 2023. Because
how many years did he play?
He played 2 seasons. 2021 to 2023.
Shit is wild. Listen, this is what I'm saying, how they got to get this shit together. Because if we're, I'm about a rule nigga. Not necessarily, but I'm talking about when I'm arguing. If the rule is you didn't play pro basketball, or even if you ain't playing, I don't know exactly the rule. More of the story is this. And I'm not saying it's right, I'm just giving an example. Why shouldn't he be able to play anymore if he only played 2 seasons? If niggas in the G League could go back to college. This is what I'm trying to figure out.
So he's in the G League. He's in the G League.
He's in the G League. Okay, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Yes, niggas going back. If it's a loophole, what you want them to do? You know what I'm saying? I really don't get what you want the nigga to do if it's other niggas that's in the G League that's going back to college next year. I can't even think of the kid name. This kid was real nice in high school. I guess he didn't go. This nigga didn't go to college. I can't remember his name. Super nice. And he didn't go to the NBA. He ended up playing overseas and a few other places. He about to go back to college. You got to fix the loophole because now, look, he ready to go to court because he dry snitching. How this nigga in the G League? I just played against this nigga last week. How he going back? And I'm like, no. This nigga, I played against him last week. He played 3 years. I only played 2. I'm going back. Let's go to court about it. You got to fix the rule before you can argue with a nigga like him. Because if I'm him, I'm mad too. Because I'm a G League niggas is going back. And I only played 2 years. I want my full eligibility like these niggas about to get.
Yeah, definitely a tough one. So I see why he's fighting for it because, either way, he finna get some money. That's what it looks like. So
but let me ask you, did y'all hear Calipari's argument? So
Tell me, I see when he's beefing, but you could point out what you're talking about.
Yeah, so he was arguing. He says there's no way a 17 or 18-year-old kid who's getting recruited from high school can compete with somebody who just came out of the G League. And so he was arguing that it kills high school recruiting and kills like the younger dudes trying to get into the system. Because if you start letting all these dudes come back from the G League, then more people going to do what Rick Pitino did last year with St. John's and just build teams with older players. And so that's where I kind of agreed to him that you just kind of you like in order to win a championship now, you're going to get these older guys, which kills the opportunity for the younger guys. That's what I agree with.
Would you like me to read what he said? Do y'all want me to do that? Because I can.
Good.
Okay. So basically he said, does anybody care what this is doing for 17 and 18-year-old American kids? Do you know what this opportunity has done for them and their families? There aren't going to be any high school kids. Who other than dumb people like me are going to recruit high school kids? I get so much satisfaction out of coaching young kids and seeing them grow and make it and their family and life changes that I'm going to keep doing it. But why would anybody else, if you can get NBA players, G League players, guys that are 28-year-olds, guys from Europe, do we really know their transcript? Do we have somebody over there? Do we really know their birth certificate or don't we? We've got no rules. So that's what he was saying.
Yeah, now look, I agree with Calipari and all that. You know what I'm saying? But now I'm thinking from a business standpoint. If you're thinking about business, right? If you're recruiting a 5-star coming out of college, out of high school, this nigga gonna want everything. Yo, come on, nigga, I'm 5-star. I need $5 million. I need a car. You know, listen, I know y'all got it. You want me to go to school? Send it here. On the other end, you may get a 24-year-old that's a 2-star. They'll be like, man, if you got 52,000, just give me that, nigga. I'll go bust that nigga ass. I'll go kill that young nigga. Fuck you talking about? He want $5 million. And a car and his own house off campus. Give me 52,000 and all year round I can eat it at Pizza Hut. I kill this nigga. Fuck you talking about? You saving yourself over $4 million and you probably gonna kill this nigga because this is his last opportunity. You gotta think about that from a business standpoint. You think about back to Indiana and Miami. The 5-star recruits for Miami opposed to the 5-star recruits for Indiana. Miami killed these niggas on 5-star recruits. They had a bunch of 5-star recruits. These niggas, they had 4 or 5. These niggas, Miami had 200 5-star recruits on their team. They lost. This is what I'm trying to tell you. This nigga, the coach for Indiana, pardon me, he's bucking the system. He like, whatever, go ahead, y'all niggas. Go ahead, keep trying to get the young 18-year-old niggas that think they all that just gonna rob you. I'm gonna get me some hungry niggas that know this their last opportunity. Maybe they play for me 2 years. They'll be 24, 25, 26. Maybe they'll catch 3 years in the NFL and get a check after that. You gotta think business as well. So as much as I agree with John Calipari, the businessman inside of me is saying, man, listen, I could get 2 for $1. I'm spending a whole $1.50 when I can get something better for 2 for $1. And they're gonna be more inspired and more hungry because this is more their last chance than somebody who's 18 years old, who's probably been the man for the last 4 years in high school.
I agree.
Yeah. So one more example that I want to bring up because he's been being talked about a lot, and like I am curious on like what exactly, like I know you're saying the rules need to be clear, but like what exactly are they supposed to do? Because when you grant eligibility to some people and then like you tell some people no, like what is the end result supposed to be? So there's a player, his name is James. He's currently playing for Baylor, but he was the number 31 pick in the 2023 NBA draft and the first drafted men's basketball player to be cleared by the NCAA. So obviously this is causing him a lot of controversy because it's like, how are you picked 31st, but then now you're back playing at Baylor? But his argument in response, because he's getting a lot of social media, he basically said he's getting a lot of insults from people, but what did he do? He's as young as everybody in here. That was his argument. So Maurice, like, what do you think the solution is to be? And then like from his perspective, him being like, well, like I'm around the same age as other people in here. What are kind of your thoughts on that? If I'm wording that in a way that makes sense to you.
I hear what you're saying. So there's like 3 arguments that are taking place. People are saying, hey, baseball, you get drafted. but you don't have to go and you can come back. So they're using that argument, right? So you have no universal standard for all sports. So people are just kind of using whatever convenient argument they have to make their point. The second thing about it, and this is the major issue that causes all this, the biggest thing is that they say American basketball is so shitty that you have to go get these foreign players. And when you get these foreign players, a lot of these guys are playing professional basketball. And so they're saying if you're going to get those guys from Europe, overseas, or wherever you get them from, and they can come back to the States and then end up playing college ball, what makes it any different from somebody who's in a G League? And so it's a bunch of conversations to try to preserve the game, because you look at the NBA. So the NBA, you can see right now, you have a bunch of foreign players. So you need to create the pipeline for these foreign players to get to the NBA. So bring them to college, let America fall in love with them, let it be something different versus us going overseas to come and get these kids to bring them into the system late. Let's try to fall in love with them in college, create their brands, then bring them to the professional system. So it's like 2 or 3 different funky arguments that people are trying to make. But the entire purpose as to why this stuff won't get a universal language and is going to stay the Wild Wild West is because when you name kids student athletes, you don't have to call them employees. And then employees, you can collectively bargain and basically unionize and basically make rules, standards, and stuff like that. And since they never want to call these kids actually employees and leave them as student athletes, this is all the shit that we can get. We're going to be able to, like, it's going to feel like a slinky. You know what a slinky is, Stat?
Yes.
Okay, I know.
I'm like, there's only one type of slinky, right?
Yeah, I know you was too young.
Are they extinct? Like, people still use those.
That's an old school toy.
It is old school. That's a legit question to ask if you know that.
Oh. Dang, sorry not to cut you off. It's just funny when y'all ask me these questions, because when it is stuff that I do know, I'm like, why would I not know what a slinky is? So I'm like, I know y'all think I'm crazy when y'all bring up other things that I really don't.
Yeah, nah. But that's why all this stuff feels like a slinky and pause, right? Yeah. So that's why it feels so crazy with all these rules, because they don't want to make kids employees, and so you get this type of environment.
Okay.
I'm not suggesting nothing. Niggas steal my ideas and act like they ain't hearing from me. They gotta start paying me for consultation, man. Every time I say something, 8 months later, it's, oh, we figured it out. Listen, I'm not expensive to the people that I'm talking to. To billionaires and niggas 100 million. Just call me if you want the answer. I got the answer to everything. Not gonna keep acting like y'all just thought of something 8 months after I said it. I'm not suggesting nothing.
Okay, y'all here to hear. Y'all need a consultation. Y'all need to go book that. Good convo, y'all. But that is all the time that we have for today. Maurice, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you all.
Good seeing you, man. Congratulations on everything you're doing, man.
I told you two things before I go. One, I'm gonna figure out how to get out there. We do Talk with Flea.
Come on.
But and I'm gonna tell you, when people know my whole story, I think they'll understand my comments a little bit better and where they come from. And so I think just doing a story with you, it'll turn out right. And then I promise you, next hotel, because we're gonna do another hotel, we're gonna figure out how to partner up on it. And I'll give you the details later on about it. But it'll be a beautiful venture. So. Thank you all again.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank y'all for watching. And as always, it is what it is.